So today we're going to talk about how to get your home bakery license and make sure everything's legal before you start selling your home baked goods. First thing you're going to do is you're going to check the laws in your area to see if you can even sell. In the US, it's called cottage laws, and it's going to vary from state to state, but you can just Google cottage laws in Ohio or Texas or wherever you are to see if it's legal to sell baked goods in your state. So I like this website. I will put a link in the description to find out if you're even allowed to sell in the state. So scroll down, and then there's a list of all the different states, and you can just click on it and see, hey, am I allowed to even sell here at all? Then check what you can sell and what you cannot sell. You're going to go click on, I'm going to do Ohio for you guys today. You're going to click here on Ohio and then see what the approved foods are. It says here, non-potentially hazardous bakery products. If you are making macarons, it doesn't specifically say macarons, but you're going to just group that under the category of cookies. Now, this is a tip for macaron bakers because it gets a little complicated because macarons don't technically have to be refrigerated, but if you ask me, you got to refrigerate them or they're going to get stale and too crunchy. But if you tell a health inspector that when you call in to ask if you're allowed to sell macarons, they're going to say no because it has to be refrigerated if you just told them that it has to be refrigerated. So if you are describing it, I would describe it as cookies with a buttercream filling because that's what they are and because they do not technically have to be refrigerated, and saying that makes it seem like it's a perishable baked good that a home baker can't be making. So when they say potentially hazardous food, they mean things that have to be refrigerated like cheesecake, pumpkin pie, custard pie, cream pies, anything that you would get sick from if you left it out on the counter. Okay, third thing you want to check is what is required of you to start selling. Like, do you need a license? Do you need labels? Do you have to have certain packaging? Are you not allowed to have certain packaging? Do you need to get your name registered? Look up what you need to do to actually start selling your baked goods. Most states require some kind of label on your baked goods when you're selling it, but what is included on that label varies from state to state. So every state is different, but in Ohio, you don't need to fill out any sort of licensing. You don't need a kitchen inspection if you are following the guidelines of the cottage food laws. Other places like California need an inspection. They need an actual license that you fill out. But in Ohio, you don't have to do anything like that. Now, you want to see, it says here, you must follow the other requirements above, like labeling and where you can sell. So labels, this is a tricky part because even though you don't need a license, you have to make sure your labels are right. You must label all of your food exactly how they say you need to label it, with certain information on each label of food that you're going to sell. So I'm going to click on this link, but I'm going to also go back to the Department of Agriculture's page just because I want to make sure. But they have a good example of ingredients, stuff like that. But let's go back to this page at the Ohio Department of Agriculture to just make sure. It looks like they have pretty much the same thing. So we're just going to stay on this page. So let's break down the label. In Ohio, and for most places, this is what it's going to look like. You have to have what they call a statement of identity. It's what you're selling, chocolate chip cookies, French macarons. Then you also need to have this. This product is home produced. And in Ohio, it has to be in a 10-point type font. Then you're going to have the weight. Then you're going to have the allergens listed. So if you have any of these 9 major food allergens, you have to put that in here as well, even if you already put it in the ingredient list. So if someone has one of these allergies, they can just go quickly scan it on the bottom and see that it's there. That is so important. Now, statement of responsibility. This is where you have to put your business name and you have to put your address. This is something that causes some stress with home bakers. At the time that I checked into it, they said I couldn't use a PO box. I had to use the actual address where I was baking these products. Some states will let you do a PO box for safety. Most don't, but I would speak with someone at the Department of Agriculture to see what you can do. But usually you've got to put, so Michelle's Macarons and then your address where you're baking your baked goods. And then your ingredients. So this is where it gets difficult, especially if you use things like Fruity Pebbles or something like that, because you need to list every single ingredient you use and every sub ingredient. So if you use almonds, egg whites, and Fruity Pebble cereal, you have to list what is in every ingredient. So whatever the list of ingredients is on the Fruity Pebbles, you have to put all of those ingredients in here. And when you list all of your ingredients, you have to do them in order of weight. A good way to do that, if you're making macarons, you're usually weighing out all your ingredients anyway, so this can be easy. But a good way to do that is when you're coming up with a new recipe, weigh all your ingredients and just sort them in order. And I'll put a link in the description. I have sample labels already made up like this. They work for any state, but you're going to have to adjust them based on what state you're in. So the next thing you're going to want to do is check to see who you can sell to and where you're allowed to sell. This page says you can sell to the consumer from your home, through grocery stores, which is kind of a big deal, meaning you can do wholesale here. You can sell to the business and then they can resell them. Registered farmers markets, registered farm markets, and sold and or used in preparing food in a restaurant. So that usually means like if a restaurant wants to buy your macaron shells to make some sort of specialty dish at their restaurant, they can do that. Now, step 5, you want to see if there are any limitations to your home bakery. So some states have none. You can sell as much as you want to as many people as you want, but there's other states where they have an income cap. So if you make more than $50,000 in your home bakery business, you have to either stop or you have to go into a commercial kitchen to sell more. Usually if it's not on here, it means there's no limitations. So I know Colorado has a limitation. I'm going to show you where it would be if you did have it. Colorado, they have an income cap, and it's going to be down here under other requirements. Annual sales limit. Net sales for each product produced by a cottage food operation must not exceed $5,000 annually. Okay, now if you need help with this or anything to do with your home bakery business, I have a 12-month program called the Home Bakery Blueprint Program, where you work with me for 12 months to grow and expand your home bakery business. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, go to the link in the description and you can get more information and apply for that. Okay, love you, bye.